Hello and welcome to day 3. I hope everybody is enjoying this series, and I'm going to just move my camera a little bit. Traveling makes it a little bit more difficult to record at this point, but I'm still at my Airbnb that I'm leaving today. So tomorrow you might see me in a different location when I'm doing this recording for you guys. Let me know when you get here. It does get lonely on this side of the camera. And since I don't have the comments on, since they distract me so much, it really does get a little bit lonely, but I can still love to see and know that you're there. So let me know that you're here. My team is in the comments as well, so they would love to know that you're here as well. So tell me where you're from. I would love to know how far we're reaching. I actually broadcast all over the world. So we have people registered for this program all over the world, literally. We have Greece, Australia, Canada, everywhere. So let me know where you're watching from and how many children is your center licensed for. If you don't have a center and you're just hoping to open, let me know that too. How many would you like to have? Are you just a home base that just wants 5 or 6 children? Or do you want 100 children or 200? Let me know how many children you care for or you would love to care for in the comments. I love to see the variety of who we're working with and who we're helping. And again, that helps me to know how many children's lives I'm touching so that I can hit that goal I have of 1 million children. So again, let me introduce myself. My name is Evelyn Knight. Hopefully you've watched day 1 and day 2, because this is like a puzzle, right? Or a pie. I'm a baker. I love to bake, so I'll use the pie analogy. In order to have the perfect recipe, you need all the ingredients. And if you really want to get to that next level of recruiting and retaining staff, then you need all the ingredients that it takes to become a great recruiter, right? So the first day we talked about why is this happening, which is vitally important. You need to understand the psychology behind what is going on in order to know what to do. Day 2, we talked, which was yesterday, we talked about, okay, so how are we going to start dealing with this, right? How are you going to really stand out from the crowd when there's thousands of other employers who are also looking to hire? Today, we're going to talk about not waiting for them to come to you. Don't wait for them to come to you. And I'll really help you understand that. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about being a category of 1. What do I mean by that, right? I mean, when you're a category of 1, it doesn't matter who the competition is. It doesn't matter where the competition is. I hear all the time from owners and directors 2 things on recruiting and enrolling: that there's too much saturation in the market, that there's too many childcare centers, right? Or that parents can't afford their care. Neither one of those is true. If you think your market is saturated and that there's too much competition, let me tell you, did you know that only 20 to 30% of children are actually enrolled in a child care center during the ages like 0 to 5 in the United States? That means at least 70% of your market is still out there and is still available, right? But that is a whole other boot camp I teach, the creative my proven preschool enrollment formula. That's a completely different subject matter I teach on, is how to get those children in. But it's the same thing with recruiting. It's the same thing. The same amount of people are still out there, right? They're still out there. It's a matter of how are we attracting them. And that is why you need to become a category of 1, where there is nobody else in the same category as you, and you don't have to worry about it, right? Our other child care centers should be collaborators, not competition. And then Friday, I'm going to go into a huge foundational piece that my favorite subject to teach on, because I understand and know that no matter what you're doing in life, whether it's recruiting, enrolling, just showing up every day, how you lead your team, everything should revolve around your vision. So every boot camp I do like this, I'm always going to teach a vision piece because there is nothing more important. If you've already taken one of my boot camps, do the vision again and again. I'm always growing on my vision. I'm always learning more. So I am bringing you new information that I haven't brought to you before. Vitally important. My vision just actually did a big transformation. It kind of like our visions start as babies and they grow up a long time, right? And it's just so incredibly powerful. Your vision is one of the most powerful things that you can have if you really embrace it. And I think I was introducing myself and then I got off track. I get excited about talking to you guys, so I kind of lose track sometimes. But my name is Evelyn Knight. I am the founder and CEO of Childcare Business Professionals, which is a company that my vision for that company is to make sure that all children are receiving the love that they deserve. That is it. That's my vision. How do I do that? I do that by educating owners and directors on how to run high quality research-based centers that put the children first and have healthy business practices. Because without having a healthy business, you're not making money. And without making money, you can't spread that love to the children, right? You have to be a great leader who is leading great teams who are spreading that love to the children, which is why the business end of things is very, very important. So that is what I do. I also have a podcast, the Childcare Business Coach Podcast, which I would recommend looking into. Lots of business tips free. I give a lot of free things away for you guys. And I am also a childcare center owner. I have my own center. I'm getting ready to break ground on my next center. I've owned a few in my lifetime, and I've been an in-home provider. I've done it all. I've done it all. I've even been a cook and a driver, so I know what it's like to wear all the hats in a childcare center. So again, I'd like to welcome you. I know it takes time to find my videos, so I'm just going to remind you guys, put in the chat, where are you from and what is your capacity? If you don't have a center yet and you're hoping to build one, what do you hope your capacity? If you don't know, that's something that we would love to discuss with you as well, right? What is a good number? We can help you with that too. So let me know if you don't know, say, I don't know, I want to open a center, but I don't know what I should go for. How many should I be licensed for, right? But let us know where you are. I'd love to see where everybody is from. So without wasting any more time, you guys know by following me that I am huge on time, right? Time is a huge priority for me. So let's get down to it. Let me tell you guys a story first. If you didn't watch Mondays, go back and watch it because a lot of what I was talking about in day one of this boot camp, I'm going to be bringing back around today. We're going to be talking again about Dutch Bros versus Starbucks. And just to summarize really quick, I told you guys about a study I personally did where I went and noticed that there is more than enough people working at Dutch Bros, right? And when I asked their manager, they said they don't even post for job openings. People just come and want to work for them. He's just in line, they ask for a job. Whereas Starbucks is really in my area, they're really struggling to hire. I travel a lot, and I am a huge Dutch Bros fan, so I always look on my Google Maps to see if I can find a Dutch Bros. And so I've gone to Dutch Bros in Texas, I've gone to them in Oregon, California, and Nevada, of course. And it's the same thing everywhere. Dutch Bros do not struggle to hire. Why is that? Yet everywhere I go, I see Starbucks with now hiring signs, right? I'm in Florida now. I was at a Starbucks yesterday. I was not a happy person yesterday. I was definitely needing some caffeine. And my Google app said that the Starbucks should still be open. I drive to the Starbucks, and there's a sign that they had to adjust their hours due to lack of available employees, right? So they are now closing an hour and a half earlier and had to adjust their open and close time because they can't hire. But Dutch Bros isn't having a hard time hiring. Why is that? Right? So today we're going to get much more in depth on why that is. But I also want to really open your mind to changing your thought process and how to do this, right? If you have your workbook, make sure you have it out now. We are going to go over some of the things in your workbook. Today's one of those days where you're really going to have to think. I'll probably end a little bit early again today like I did yesterday to give you that time to do the work. And remember, I cannot say it enough. You don't want to just be a student. You want to be an implementer, right? So don't just learn, take the time. Hopefully you guys scheduled an hour for this training. I don't go the whole hour intentionally to make sure that you do the work. If it's on your calendar for an hour, use that hour to do the work. If you never implement and you just stay a student, you're never going to see any growth or change in your life. Okay, so today, again, a reminder, we're on every day at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Is our replay. If you want to discuss this, if you want, I will be in the chat where I can actually chat back and forth with you guys. It's been really fun. It's our first time doing it this way, where we're actually replaying the videos, like this video will be replaying at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. But I'm actually in the chat, my whole team is in the chat, and we're engaging and working with you. So we can really just dial it in. What is your messaging? What is there a misunderstanding, right? So make sure you join us for that as well. Every day this week we have something new for you. Saturday we are doing a question and answer session where we will be taking your questions. And then on Tuesday we have a closed door Zoom session that those of you who register for this boot camp are welcome to join me live on Zoom, so you can actually, we can talk and you can pick my brain. So make sure to mark your calendars for that on Zoom. Again, if you don't have a workbook, make sure you let us know in the comments. Your concierge will help you. Your concierge is somebody who works for me. I assign you a concierge to make sure you're getting everything you can out of this workshop. And you'll get a message in your DMs from either Mandy, Christina, Pam, Lisa, or Moira. They're my team members. Make sure you approve that, because they are there to just serve you and to help. That is their job, is to serve and help you. So make sure that they know that you're there and that you're watching. Again, also, you want to send them the secret word, right? Every day this week, we're doing a secret word because we're giving away a $50 gift card to Starbucks at the end of the session. So on Friday, you're going to have a whole phrase put together. So every day, you should be sending your word to your concierge, and Friday, you're going to send the phrase. Okay, so a word of a day, phrase at the end, and if you're watching the replays, just catch up, send them all at once, do what you need to do. And all these videos, by the way, are coming down on Tuesday. It is all done this coming Tuesday. So make sure that you catch up if you have to binge this weekend, whatever you need to do. But back to talking about Starbucks and Dutch Bros. Why is it that Starbucks is struggling and Dutch Bros isn't? They're very clear on their branding, right? Very, very clear on their branding. And they're very clear on what their values are. But Dutch Bros' model is a lot different looking, right? Dutch Bros, if you don't have a Dutch Bros in your area, it's a lot kind of like Chick-fil-A in their efficiency of customer service, and their level of customer service is next level. And the efficiency is just, I cannot even begin to tell you guys. I am a person who refuses to wait in lines, okay, to the point that it's kind of funny. It's an ongoing joke for my family. I will go grocery shopping, or not so much grocery shopping because of perishables, but let's say TJ Maxx. I'll go to TJ Maxx. I will spend an hour picking things out. I'll have a cartload of stuff. And when I go to check out, if there's a huge line, I'm not going to do it. I will literally leave. I'll go put everything back and leave. I will not stand in huge lines. Time to me is such an important asset. It's almost too important to the point that it's unrealistic sometimes, the fact that I won't just go sit in a line, but I won't do it. But when I see a Dutch Bros line, I will sit in one of those, and they are long. They are like Chick-fil-A long type of lines, very long lines, and I'll sit in a Dutch Bros line for a couple of reasons, because they make the line fun to a certain extent. The employees will come out, and the way they work it is so efficient. And these huge lines, what looks like you're going to sit there for an hour, just go in 10 minutes. The efficiency is amazing. But the culture is also amazing. The employees are all very happy, upbeat. They keep you entertained during the line. They laugh, they sing, they dance. There's music always playing. And there's any given time when you pull up to the window to get your drink, you look inside and they're dancing and singing inside, having like this little party inside Dutch Bros, right? They have this atmosphere that is just contagious. They're very friendly. If you are sitting when waiting too, they'll even play games with you. And these are all things they're trained to do, right? They're trained to like play, do you want to play tic-tac-toe or what was one of the other ones I got the other day? Or do you want a fun fact? Different things like that. So they're trained to keep you entertained, but they are always authentically having fun. They're always having fun. So when I studied Dutch Bros, one of the things that they do when they're recruiting is they're always looking for a certain type of person, somebody who is upbeat, excited, and has like a lot of fun. They're going to have energy. It's somebody who's going to be okay with dancing at work, right? Well, what happens is they have their brand so dialed in, their values and the culture of their company so dialed in, that as you go and experience Dutch Bros, you get that feeling of, I would love to work here. This looks so much fun. This looks amazing. I would love to be an employee of Dutch Bros, right? And that's why they get so many people actually asking them for jobs. And they don't have to post for job openings, and they don't actually go after clients, right? Because people want to work for Dutch Bros. Because of this strong culture that they've created, people just want to be a part of them. So that is something that really struck my mind, right? And I understand in early childhood, we don't have long lines of people coming in and out of our doors. So there's not a whole lot of people who are going to be asking us like, ooh, I want to work for you. This looks amazing. But we do need to think about this model that Dutch has created, right? And we do need to really think about, why would somebody want to work for us? And who do we want to work for us? If you're hiring based on resumes, and if you're hiring based on job interviews, you are not matching people with your company culture, right? I'll be the first to tell you, and this is always shocking to people, I don't care what's on a resume. I couldn't care less how many years of experience a teacher has and what degrees they have. To be completely honest with you, and I know so many of you guys can resonate with this, tell me in the comments, but I talk to so many owners and directors that agree with me on this. A lot of times, resumes and degrees actually make teachers harder to deal with and a lot lazier. A lot of times they get this feeling of, well, look at what I've achieved. I don't need to perform for my job, right? The other thing is, it's very hard for them to break bad habits because they rely so much on their resume, but they don't want to grow. They don't want to assimilate into our programs, and they really don't think that there's much more room for growth, right? Now, that's not saying it's all that way. There are some amazing employees that I have that have come to me with degrees, but it's that mindset, right? It's the growth mindset that I need and I know I'm looking for all the time. Because if somebody isn't willing to grow and take accountability for their job, you will never, ever be able to correct them when something goes wrong, right? So what do I look for in an employee? If I don't care about a resume, what do I look for? I look for character and values. I can give somebody their resume. I can take someone straight out of high school. I can put them through their CDA program. I can get them their bachelor's degree, right? But I cannot change who they are on the inside. I can train them. I have an amazing onboarding process that is 6 months long. I onboard my employees for 6 months so that I know I'm getting the stellar staff I want, right? I can train them to be the teachers I want them to be. I can get them the education that they need to be amazing teachers, but I cannot change who they are in their heart. I cannot change their core values and what they believe in, right? That is why I hire based on character and values instead of a resume. Every one of my team members, again, that is on here with you guys, the ladies I mentioned earlier, we're all recruited. Not a single one of them applied for a job with me. My team at Zooin, we do the same method. We've gotten some of the most amazing employees by talking to them. I talk about Alana all the time. Alana has worked for me now for 15 years. She did not apply for a job with me. She was brought into my organization, right? So how do I do it? First and foremost, you need to be very clear on what your values are and what characteristics you want in an employee. And what that means, and this is going to tie in a lot to Friday as well, but you really, really need to understand and know who you are serving, who you want to serve, and how you want to serve them, right? What is your superpower? Like we were talking about yesterday. Those are your values, right? Integrity. For me, I wrote down some of my top 3 values. Let's see, what do I have here? Love for the children, equality for all children, high quality, research-based. They've got to be able to take accountability. That is one of my biggest, they have to be growth mindset. But the biggest thing for me is I need to know that they love children unconditionally. I need to know that they are passionate about making this world a better place for children. That is really what I need, right? That they're willing to sacrifice how much money they make, how much time they work, everything. Like this is a career to them. This is the profession they want to give their life to because they know in their heart that children are worth it, right? But if you don't know how to find those people, then how do you recruit them? Knowing what kind of values and characteristics to look for is how you start finding these people in the world, right? So when I say don't wait for them to come to you, when you really dial in what it is that you believe in, these are my values, and these are the characteristics, and you'll see they kind of go hand in hand. You're going to say, these are my values. This is what I prioritize. This is what I see. This is what I want for the world, right? Characteristics are going to kind of fit into that. They're usually, like for me, high integrity people. They're usually very loving, very nurturing. They're going to be hardworking because it takes a lot of hard work to work with children, especially because we help with special needs children, low socioeconomic children. So it's hard, and it's going to be that hardworking person who has that natural. They just want to do whatever they can for the children, right? So the characteristics will end up going hand in hand. And what will happen when you get really, really clear on this is you're going to start finding people out in the world that match those values. When you do, you're going to offer them a job. You're not going to wait for people to come and apply with you. You're going to bring the jobs to them. That person, your next best hire, may not know that they want to work for you. They may not know that you're their next career choice. When Alana came to work for me, she actually had her own company that was cleaning new construction, right? There were houses that were new constructions, and she was like prepping them for the homeowners to move into. She works in childcare now, right? That has nothing to do with the two. And let me tell you guys another story. Like, what is it that I look for, right? We've recruited people from the church. Like when you see a Sunday school teacher, that is just stellar. Or you continually work with a waitress. Let me caution you guys on this, though. It's not always going to be like a one-time thing. I want to really, really caution you on repeated, like make sure you interact with this person a few different times. And sometimes I'm going to give you a story on sometimes that doesn't apply. But for the most part, you want to make sure there's consistency because people tend to wear masks, right? But the more you're exposed to a person and the more you see them, the more those masks are really going to be taken off, and you will be able to see them for who they really, really are. But if you're, let's say Sunday school, right? Every Sunday you drop off the child, Sunday school teacher is amazing, clearly loves the children, builds rapport, really connects with them. That's somebody you want to offer a job to, okay? So once upon a time, my son, when he was in the 8th grade, he got a really, really bad concussion. And I ran him to an urgent care, and he actually projectile vomited all over the nurse. all over. I felt horrible. I was mortified. She was covered in vomit. I jumped up to help her, and she said, "Stop, it's okay. Let me attend to your son first." And she literally had her hands full of vomit. And she didn't freak out. She wasn't upset. She just went straight into action. She, of course, went and cleaned up her son, cleaned up her hands, made sure my son was okay, and then went to change. Okay, didn't even faze her. And when I talked to her later about that, I said, like, "I'm sorry, but your reaction was amazing." She says, well, my number one concern is your son, not the fact that I have vomit all over me. So I offered her a job on the spot. That is somebody who, when it's that extreme, you can see her character and her love for children. She demonstrated it to me like that, and I offered her a job right on the spot, right? Notice, this is a nurse. There's no way I could pay her what that nurse makes, right? But money is not the most important. I have to record on my phone, and I think I might have just muted for a minute. Money is not the most important thing to a person. Money is usually pretty secondary to quality of life and knowing that you make a difference in the world. But again, like what we were talking about earlier this week, you have to know that difference if you're going to present and start recruiting people, right? When you're at the bus stop and you see that stay-at-home mom who does a stellar job with her children, or that teacher's aide, that's amazing. Those are the people that you want to offer jobs to. Don't wait for them to come to you. When you see these people out in the world and you know they would match your values that you want for your center, and they just have that love, offer them a job. I was once upon a time a stay-at-home mom, and it's funny because the way I tell the story is I lost my name, okay? I was about 27 years old, and everywhere I went, I was either Bronson's mom or Ronnie's wife. But I got to the point where I felt like I had no name. I had no identity of my own. So I started selling Avon, okay, to give myself an identity. And I built up a big Avon business from home so I could stay a stay-at-home mom and still be with my baby and build this business. And actually, that's how I raised the money to open a center, with my husband's help, of course. But basically, I was working Avon when I started owning my first center. I was an in-home provider and an Avon representative, right? I went in-home first and then into Avon, or the center. But the point is that so many stay-at-home moms feel the same way. They have nothing for themselves. So look at the moms in your own center, right? And just offer them that opportunity to do something huge in this world. Offer them that opportunity to be the change, right? But again, you have to know, what is it that you're doing? How are you impacting this world? What are your values? And then you're selling that as the job. When you do, how much you pay suddenly becomes secondary. I want you to ask yourself, why do you do what you do, right? We are so afraid of how much we can pay our employees. But you're doing the job, and you're probably not getting paid what you could be getting paid at a different job. So why do you stay? Why do you do the job that you're doing as an early childhood educator and leader? Why do you own a center? Why do you direct a center, right? Those same reasons are what you're going to talk about with others when you're really selling your program. That is what you're really going to be focusing on, because there are people like you out there who love children and who will do this for that love. So lean into that. That is where you're going to be able to recruit. So you've got to just know your values, know the characteristics you're going to work on, right? Or you're looking for. When you find those, then you're going to sell your program to those people as employees. And again, just keep in mind that making that difference in the world is more impactful to somebody. Now, again, of course, people need a paycheck, and our staffs deserve so much more than we can afford to give them. So we do want to lean into that as well, right? We do really want to lean into giving them what we can without going bankrupt, which is why I teach the business side of things, because a lot of us could end up going bankrupt because we give so much to our staff. So we really want to find that bonus. The other thing for owners out there, I'm going to tell you, you do deserve to make money too. Okay, we work hard. We put our blood, sweat, and tears, we invest our lives into our center, and we deserve to make the money without feeling shame or guilt. Our society has given us such a bad interpretation of what it means to be a successful owner and to make money. But that is wrong. If you were your director, you expect a paycheck, right? There is nothing wrong with you as the owner expecting a paycheck too. Directors, there is nothing wrong with your owners getting paid. They are putting everything, all of their financial stability on the line for you to have a job. So the judgment needs to end when it comes to that. So I know that's a little tangent, but I see it all the time. And for some of you, I'm preaching to the choir, but everybody kind of needs to wake up and just stop that guilt over being an owner that makes money. There is no other business that anyone else is going to go into and feel bad about making money, right? It's okay for us to make an income. I'm not saying we're going to become millionaires or multimillionaires off of children, but we need to pay our bills too, and that is okay. So get your money mindset get it right, because you won't be able to recruit and really bring people in if you're not looking at money from a totally different perspective. First of all, we value it too much. We really do. There is so much more that we can give our staffs. We can give them the opportunity to leave a legacy for the rest of their lives, right? That is something, one of the things I ask my staff a lot, and I ask myself actually all the time, is when I am 80 years old and I'm looking back on my life, what do I want to remember? What do I want to be known for? What will make me proud and what will make me ashamed, right? I have the degree in psychology. I could have become a psychologist who went and, practiced with patients, and I might have found some good life satisfaction with that. I'm sure I could have made some great changes. There's a lot I could have done with my career, right? But what am I really going to know? I really made an impact on this world, right? What bigger impact than working with the most vulnerable, youngest parts of our society? The most important part of our society, where 90% of the human brain is forming. That is what you have to offer as an ECE professional. And there is nothing more powerful than that. So rethink how you think about recruiting. The dollars don't matter so much. Okay, so let me just go over the workbook basically again and just make sure that I'm covering everything for you guys. So one of the questions I ask is, what are your shared values? Knowing your values and then looking for people who share those values is vitally important, right? Very, very important. And then how are you going to make those values become a part of your company's culture? Having fun and bringing happiness to people is part of Dutch Bros company's culture, right? So you can really see how they've done that just by sitting in line at a Dutch Bros. And those are the people they're attracting. That's the other thing too, you guys. When you really dial this down, you will start attracting those people that fit in with your center. What characteristics will they display? Well, I told you some of mine for my center. They're loving, they're kind, they're nurturing, they're patient. They see children as innately good instead of innately bad. That is really important. I cannot stress that enough. As somebody who, believe it or not, my specialty, even though I teach business, is actually classroom management, but there's not enough people out there teaching good business practices, so I chose to do business. I leave the classroom management to Prerna Richards because she's a genius at it. But classroom, basically, there's so many people who always look at the children as being the bad guy. They're bad, they're doing bad, they just, they're awful, right? That is not people I want working for me. I want people who understand and know that 90% of a child's behavior problems are the adults, not the child's, right? And we're going to be proactive instead of reactive. They're going to want to guide instead of discipline. Now, if you have an authoritative center where you believe in punishment and discipline, then you do want to find somebody who basically is looking at that from a different lens than what I want, right? And again, I know I make that sound negative, but it really is a matter of perspective. And there is no real right or wrong way, right? So I don't want to make it sound like my way is the only way. I don't want to make it sound like that, because I do follow research-based. I will say that. that the research does show that guidance is more effective than discipline if you really want to see behavior changes. But I'm not going to judge anybody on their personal beliefs. So let's see, how will they stand out from the crowd? Or how will you stand out from the crowd, right? That is kind of what I'm talking about this entire session. I want you to know to stand out from the crowd. I want you to become that category of one, right? And tomorrow we're really going to go in depth on that. So looks like from my notes and everything, that is what we have today. Again, I'm ending this early in the hopes that you guys take that time to do the work, right? With all my trainings, I'm always trying to focus on making sure that you implement, because just being a student is a waste of your time, a waste of your money. It's just a giant waste. Implement. Implementation is where it's really at and where you're going to see change. So I know you guys are all waiting for the word of the day. The word of the day today is R. A-R-E, R. So make sure you send that to your concierge. Hopefully you're getting that phrase put together. And again, if you don't have a concierge or a workbook, put it in the chat. And I hope to see more of you guys this evening when I'm in the chat so we can interact and go over all of this together. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.